The title of today's lesson is Geometric Patterns. The objective is I will extend patterns of cubes and tiles. Look at the tower of cubes. Do you see a pattern in the number of cubes in each tower? Draw the towers below and then draw the next two towers. If you look at the first tower, you'll notice that it has 6 cubes. Then the next tower has 7 cubes, and then the next one has 8 cubes. So if we were to draw the next two towers, it would look exactly the same. So I would have 6 cubes, then 7, 8, 9. So this one would have 9. Then the next one would be up to 10. So the bottom part is 6, then 7, 8, 9, 10. The table shows the number of stories and the number of cubes for the towers you just made. I'd like you to complete the table. Now when I talk about the number of stories, I'm talking about the number of levels a tower has. So the number of stories we had, or the number of we had a 3-story, so 3 levels, and that used 6 cubes. Then there was a 4-story tower that used 7 cubes, and then there was a 5-story tower that used 8 cubes. Then we created a 6-story tower that used 9 cubes. Then there was a 7-story tower that used 10 cubes. If I wanted to know what the 8-story, 9-story, 10-story, and then 100 stories. If I look at the table, I'm going to try and figure out what is the pattern. So remember, when you're looking at a pattern in a table, you're looking at the pair of numbers. What is the pattern between the pair? So if I look from 3 to 6, you know that it's going up, so it can either be multiplying or it can be adding. Well, I can multiply 3 by 2 to get to 6, or I can add 3 to get to 6. We need to see which one works for the rest of the table. Well, if I look at the next one, we have 4 times 2 does not equal 7, so that cannot be the pattern. So the pattern must be adding 3 each time. So if I look at the next one, if I have 8 stories, then the number of cubes that I would need to use would be 11, because 8 plus 3 is 11. If I had a 9-story tower, then I would need 12 cubes. If I had a 10-story tower, I would need 13 cubes. So if I had a 100-story tower, all I need to do is add 3, so I would need 103 cubes. So on page 51, if we look at number 1 in the guided practice, it has a table that has the number of stories is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then it says the number of blocks is 2, 4, 6, and then there's a blank. It also gives us a picture. So we have 1 story uses 2 blocks. We have 2 stories uses 4. We have 3 stories uses 6. So now we need to draw the next 2 towers. So if I was to have a 4-story tower, then that would mean that I would have 8 blocks. And if I was to have 5 stories, that means I would have 10. If we were just going to use the table, I could look at the pairs and notice that each time I am multiplying by 2. So now if I look at number 2, it has the number of stories was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I had a blank. And so the number of blocks was 2, 3, 4, 5, blank, and then 7. The first tower has 1 story using 2 cubes. Then this next tower has 2 stories using 3 cubes. and then it has 3 stories using 4 cubes. So then the next one, well, if I continue the pattern, I need to look at the pairs. So if I look at the pairs, there is 1 story and then 2 cubes, 2 stories, and then 3 cubes, 3 stories, and then 4 cubes. So if you look at the pattern, then you would know that you're just adding 1 each time. So it would be 6 cubes, and then here it would be 6 would be the number of stories, and we would be using 7 cubes. So if I wanted to have 5 stories, have 2 on the bottom, and then that's 1 story, 2 stories, 3 stories, 4 stories, 5 stories. And then the last one would be 1 story, and then you would have 5 cubes to make your 6 stories.